Good afternoon. Welcome to John Lewis Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noted. I am pleased to call this meeting of the John Lewis Go Team to order. Our first order of business, we're going to introduce ourselves first, and then once we introduce ourselves, the Go Team members, Mr. Grant, if you don't mind, give us a brief introduction and we'll get started. Okay, I'm Ms. Triplett, Go Team Chair.
I am Ms. Ellis, Go Team Vice Chair.
I am Ms. Franklin, Go Team member. I am Bree, Go Team member.
I'm Mr. Grant, Principal, John Lewis Big Academy.
I'm Roy Cogdell, Go Team member, Grove Park Foundation.
I am Ms. Haddock, Go Team Secretary.
So, good evening, Principal of John Lewis Big Academy. Definitely want to thank everyone for the trust, the faith, and opportunity to lead John Lewis Big Academy. Looking forward to working with our staff, our students, and our community partners to continue to grow John Lewis to be the school that we know definitely does.
Thank you. Roll call. Our first order of business is to roll call. The secretary will now take the roll.
All right, please respond present when your name is called. Ms. Grant?
Present.
Ms. Jasmine Henderson? Ms. Tasha Giles? Ms. Robin Triplett?
Present.
Ms. Danelle Franklin?
Present.
Ms. Haddock is present. Mr. Cogdell?
Present.
Ms. Bree Clinton? Present. Ms. Tanya Ellis?
Present.
Thank you. There is a quorum.
Thank you. This team will only be able to take official action if there is a quorum, and yes, the secretary did mention that there is a quorum. We do not. Our first action item is going to be the approval of the agenda.
Well, the agenda was received an email. Were there any changes, revisions, additions? Did you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I second. Okay, the motion passed.
Okay, so now we're going to approve the previous minutes.
All right, so the minutes were also in the same email. Are there any revisions, changes, modifications noted to the previous minutes? If none, then I have a motion to approve the previous minutes. Motion to approve.
Second.
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 Motion passed.
So now we're going to look at the strategic plan. We're going to vote on the plan and we're going to review. So now our action item is to review and update the strategic plan. We will now hear from the principal as they review the final strategic plan, and then we will vote.
Thank you. So, our strategic plan, of course, is going to guide the work that we do for the remainder of this year, prepare for next year, and guide our work for next year. I've reviewed the strategic plan, taken a look at the priorities and the ranking of the priorities. Based on my observations and conversations, interactions with staff members, I do understand and do appreciate the work that the team's done to set priorities for the plan and how they're going to align with our budget. Right now, when I look at the priorities, the main priority is building a culture of student support. Next one is equipping and empowering leaders and staff, followed by fostering academic excellence for all students, and then creating a system of student support. More specific, the priorities align with the district priorities. So first one is creating a culture of high expectations for academic scholarship, through responsibility and service for students, staff, and families. Our next three priorities align with equipping and empowering leaders. So preparing our staff to make sure they're prepared to meet the instructional needs of our students, and ensuring that we have high quality staff to fill different positions. So those will be the biggest priorities as we look into our strategic plan, and we look into our budget for the upcoming school year. From my understanding, the priorities have been ranked, and now's our opportunity to accept the plan as it is, and understand that the team is prepared to make a vote on that.
Now that we've heard the strategic plan, do I hear a motion to accept the updates for the strategic plan? Second. All in favor, please say A or raise your hand. All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okay, now our strategic plan has been approved. So now for our discussion item, Mr. Grant, want to share the strategic priority, or you want to?
Yes. Yes. Let's see. Also want looking at our priorities, and once again, my understanding that the team is taking a look at the priorities and voted. Want to just ensure before we go into the budget process that we are clear on the priorities and the ranking of the priorities. Based on approval of the strategic plan, we now must. Well, we ranked the priorities already, so now it's time for us to make sure we agree on plans. And as we go through the presentation, we'll go through those priorities to make sure that we're still good with them. And after we end that discussion, we'll set the priorities in place. All right, so today we're going to begin the process of planning our school budget for the upcoming school year. I know we're here for the same reason, to ensure that our budget aligns with our priorities. So as we go through the budget process, it'll be an opportunity for the board to provide feedback on the process. So our norms, just a reminder, this is a meeting of the GO team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public are here to quietly observe. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other. We'll follow the agenda as noticed to the public and stay on task. We respect all ideas and assume good intentions. again, today I'm going to provide an overview of the budget that's been allocated for the upcoming school year, this 24-25 school year. Today we're going to begin the work of funding the strategic priorities that we agreed upon and that we voted upon. I'm going to start out with a timeline, and I also gave everyone should have a copy of the timeline. We'll need that as we move forward. So on my second day, we had a meeting to begin our budget discussion with the district. Right now, we're at step 3, where we're beginning our initial budget session to discuss the allocation. The next step will be meeting with me and Associate Superintendent to discuss and review the budget. The budget would then come back to the GO team for a session where we'll review a draft of the budget. There'll be an opportunity for discussion and feedback. The 6th step will be a staff meeting that I'll have with Human Resources. And finally, we'll come back for the final approval of the budget. All right, so of course the budget is this budget allocation meeting for the GO team to provide feedback. It's important for this to take place because it provides the opportunity for the GO team to ensure that the budget aligns with the school's strategic plan and our strategic priorities, and ensure that as funds are allocated, they're allocated that align in ways that align with the strategic plan. So this process is taking place, of course, right now. And this process has to take place before we go into the next part of the budget. We'll be looking to our final approval. Right, so again, this is just a review of the budget development process. And it aligns demonstrates the different roles that each of us have. So my role is to make sure that the budget is designed in a way that aligns with priorities, to make sure that I take an opportunity to articulate and flesh out the strategies that we'll take to get towards implementation of the budget, to manage on the school level the funds that are part of the budget, to serve as the expert on the school as I create out feedback from different staff members and the community, ensure that we have high quality instruction and support personnel as we move into the school year. This also provides a review of the GO team's role to focus on the big picture and to ensure that the budget is aligned with the school's strategic plan and the priorities that we set in the plan, and to ensure that as we go over how the funds are allocated, that they align with those priorities. This right here is just a screenshot of the plan that we just approved, and it shows the priorities in order that we set those priorities. So as we're looking at how funds will be allocated, we'll ensure that they're allocated in ways that align with those priorities according to that rank order. This is a closer look at our strategic plan's priorities, listed from 1 to 10. And give everyone an opportunity to review once again. One thing that I do want to bring to the board's consideration is there is an opportunity for us to streamline our priorities. As I review them, I see some similarities between some of the priorities. So if we look at number 1 and number 8, they're very similar. 2, 3, and 4 are very similar. 5 and 6, and 7 and 10. And the reason for bringing that up is as we move towards making decisions within and decisions on the board, having a really clear focus on our priorities will be very important. So that's something that we want to discuss. And just to be clear, I'm also fine with moving forward as they are, since the board did take time to put those together. But do you see an opportunity where we can bond to that as we move, not just as far as looking at budget, but looking as far as how we make decisions, and how we move towards the upcoming school year, just having a more streamlined approach. So looking at, the first one's looking at 1A, create a culture of high expectations for academic scholarship, different responsibility and service for students, staff, and families. Similar to number 8, preparing all students to have the essential life skills to be self-aware, collaborative, and accepting of diversity. Now, from my understanding, if we combine any, we will have to just go back and make sure that we draft them, we come back and make sure that they're exactly what we want before we go into any decisions. Like I said, also looking at 2, 3, and 4, prepare and develop knowledgeable staff focus on equity, quality teaching, building teacher capacity in core content areas, and recommending high quality staff for vacant positions. So just in my thought, there's an option to select one that captures all of them, or in some way combine them.
Trying to remember, when we first came up with this list, these were from years past, right?
Yes.
And, is there any problem if we were to combine them, like if we were to?
I don't think it's a problem, like you say, if we actually have this combined, I don't think it would be a problem to streamline, but we probably still have to come back. If we're gonna discuss it, come back, and then vote on this again, as far as the brain streamline, the streamline.
So why you say it's 1 and 8 and 2, 3, and 4?
Right, 1, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 10. Looking at 7 and 10.
Nine.
There's 9. I'm missing 9.
And now was probably one that's not stand on.
Okay, stand on.
Looking at 7 and 10 is probably one that, the ability for us to select one over the other.
I'm thinking maybe 7 over 10, because if you implement the stimulus treatment, then you will be building the system and resources to support it. So perhaps number 7 can stand out ahead of number 10.
Okay.
All 3 of them. When you look at number 10, it says build systems and resources. So the question will be how are we going to build it? When you look at number 7, it'll be the answer. Right.
That works for me.
Okay.
But, I'll go with the board, not the voting members, I'll go with the board. And as I said, if we decide it was intentional to keep them separated, I'm fine with that also. Just thinking about as we move forward 4 and
Yeah, okay.
and a mix.
Okay.
We have 1 and 8.
I think one of the eight are just for the rest, or it's fine, I have to go to look at what, either way.
Just thought if we, like, if we're keeping 1 and 8, so right now, the only one we really said that, we're combining 7 and 10. If we look at the other two sets, I think we may have to, we probably just have to vote on the, vote that we vote on as priorities.
So either keep them separate or we can just do it, end up in your meeting. Create a culture of high expectations by preparing our students to have essential life skills, or we intertwine the two to still make it one, so it's still what it needs to be. So one more time, so create a culture of high expectations by preparing all students to have essential life skills, to be self-aware, collaborative, and accepting personally, for academic scholarships, civil responsibility, and service to students, staff, and parents. Or through. And then through academic scholarships, civic responsibility, and service. If you want to show it, it's the stakeholders as opposed to students, staff, and families.
It'll be informal, it's the same thing.
Mr. Conley was also saying that he's okay if we keep it separated. So that's, if he doesn't. Right, okay.
They're saying two different things.
Two, 3, and 4.
So, like 2, 4 are almost similar enough, and 5 and 3. Be like all of them. Okay.
I think they could be combined.
If we combine, my recommendation would be to keep 2 and prepare and develop. All staff to be knowledgeable. Focus on quality teaching. 3, focus on the core contents, but as a STEAM school, I think it's important for us to make sure that our connection teachers are part of ensuring that we build their capacity. Maybe prepare and develop all teachers to be knowledgeable in their content area.
Yes.
So we're gonna keep 2 and 3, and 0 and 4.
No, instead of having it separate, where it says math, science, social studies, ELA, all teachers.
Yeah.
So that will include the elected teachers.
What are we doing with 4? What are we doing with 4? different, like,
So are we saying for 2, 3, and 4, that it's combined to say prepare and develop all teachers to be knowledgeable and knowledgeable in their content area? So that's combining 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
Is that what the suggestion was? Prepare and develop all teachers.
Five and six maybe, because 6 does address students with exceptionality, so. So that would, we would have, so we have 7 priorities versus 10.
So did we keep 1 and 8 separate?
And leaving 5 and 6 as the.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe. Right. I think we can do it. That way we can move on with the budget. So if I can make a recommendation, if everyone's comfortable with that, we can just read them all out loud just to make sure. I think we changed the order. Just
We have to make a official motion. A motion to do that.
We're gonna read them out loud. Okay. So the changes,
yeah.
1 and 8, will be separate. Number 1 reads create a culture of high expectations for academic scholarship, civic responsibility and service to students, staff, and families. 8, prepare all students to have a centralized view to be self-aware, collaborative, and accepting of diversity. 2, 3, and 4 are now just 1. Prepare all teachers to be knowledgeable in their content area. Do I need to add to real teacher capacity or,
Prepare and develop all teachers to be knowledgeable in their content area.
prepare and develop? Okay. Prepare and develop all teachers to be knowledgeable in the content area, that's fine? Okay. 5, standalone, improve students' mastery of core content knowledge, ELA, math, science, social studies. 6, close the student achievement gap with general education and students with disabilities. We like at 7 over 10, 7 reads implement STEAM enriched curriculum to drive interdisciplinary and project-based teaching. And last one, number 9, ensure systems and resources are aligned with school priorities. Okay.
So, do I hear a motion to accept the changes that was made to the strategic plan priority rating?
Motion to accept the change.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say A. Or raise your hand. All opposed, please say nay, or raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okay, so we have a motion and move that we make changes necessary changes for the strategic planning process.
Document passed.
And definitely want to thank you all. This definitely helped as we going through our budget process as far as our decision making. Streaming out, allowing our person to make sure that we're allowing our priorities. Next thing we'll take a look at.
Hey, this is Chandra. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so before y'all go on, I just, because you made those changes, you want to make sure that the strategic plan is updated to reflect what the new priorities are. And then you want to redo this slide as well, so that, you have it written down and as a part of the, it'll be, because this will all be included in, the final budget presentation. So you want to make sure all of the updates that you made are reflected on these slides. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sean, are we okay with moving forward with reviewing the parameters and the rest of the?
Yeah, you guys are okay to move forward now. I'm assuming, I don't know if your parameters are going to reflect the changes that you all just made, but you can, obviously update your parameters if you need to based off the changes that y'all just made.
Yes.
Okay. But you can share what you have, so far based off of what y'all had coming into the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so here are the rationales. Now, this is our priorities, and just based off of feedback from staff's observation, listening on some previous meetings and read some minutes, draft this rationale for each priority. They're definitely open for adjustment or change. So I'm going to start with number one. Our first priority is creating a culture of high expectation. So rationale is if we have a culture of high expectation, this will support improved student outcomes. Second priority, relating to ensure we have high quality staff. So preparing and developing our staff to meet the needs of our community who have improved student outcomes and learning experiences. Combine 3 and 4. I do believe the context and those rationales are important also. So building teacher capacity in their content area fosters the opportunity for students to engage in rigorous and relevant learning experiences, and high quality staff ensure members have the knowledge and skills necessary to perform at high levels. So just taking each one of these parameters right there, as we said, as we go through the budget process and decisions are made, will be our foundation for how each priority is aligned to the budget. We go to the next one, please. All right, so a closing the student achievement gap with a focus on our students with disabilities. This focus allows us to ensure that we focus on our subgroups as we are going through the instructional planning process. And just give a little bit more context to that. One thing that we do focus on here at JLIA is using data to drive instruction and support students when they're not demonstrating mastery, and also support students and identify students who aren't demonstrating mastery and provide supports around them, and also students who are showing that they're prepared to excel to higher, make sure that we provide those opportunities for acceleration and advancement also. It's important that we look at subgroups in that planning process, and by making that a priority and being intentional about looking at that around those students, it allows us to focus on closing those gaps in that data analysis process. So just want to add some more context to that. Number 7, implement a STEAM-enriched curriculum to drive interdisciplinary and project-based teaming and learning approaches. Interdisciplinary teaching, as we know, provides students the opportunity to go deeper into the content. What that's going to look like as we move forward into our scheduling and budgeting is ensuring that we have interdisciplinary teams where our teachers are providing professional learning and the opportunity to collaborate to ensure that they are supporting their team of students. So, for example, in ELA, social studies, math, science team of teachers will have a set group of students. They'll be able to collaborate interdisciplinary to support progress towards STEM certification, but also provide them opportunity to really hone in on supporting their group of students, their team of students, provide social emotional support, developing processes and routines as a team. So it leads to deeper learning, but it also supports our number one priority, which is to ensure that we develop a culture of excellence. So as we go into the budget, as we plan our master schedule, even those things will be part of those priorities. Number 8, preparing all students to have the essential life skills to be self-aware, collaborative, and accepting diversity. This is really important to middle school learners. To make sure that we continue to incorporate social emotional learning into our curriculum, making sure that we prioritize maintaining our counselors for our students for each grade level to make sure that our students have that support outside of their teaching team to deal with any social emotional needs. Of course, our additional support staff that are surrounded around our grade levels to support that. Ensuring systems and resources are aligned with school priorities. By doing this, we provide ourselves the opportunity to optimize our limited resources. And finally, going back to our STEAM certification process, building systems and resources to support STEAM implementation. We're going to ensure that we continue to move towards our STEAM certification. Okay, so this next portion, we'll look at the funds that we have been allocated at this point. And this is a summary of where we are right now. So, of course, the budget is a representation of our school's plan, our priorities, and it's a recommendation that's tiered directly to our strategic plan. Right now, our general operation in the schools funds represent $11,112,754, and that's the funds that we have to as part of our budget for the upcoming school year. We are projected to have a reduction in the number of students that we'll have next school year, a reduction of 106 students. So that has resulted into a decrease in the amount of funds that we had in comparison to last year. In addition, because we have shown improvements, we also have a reduction in the amount of turnaround funds and some Title I funds that we received last year.
Good question. So last year we were supposed to have a reduction. Did those numbers actually show as reduced when we get to this point this year? Like, we're supposed to have a pretty significant reduction, like 200 students, right?
Right, and it didn't show.
Yeah. I was curious.
And I've asked that question, and based on the response I've received, it was they've been pretty good at forecasting. Not to say that there's not things that happen, result change, but there is a process where at the beginning of the school year we do a count of our students, and it's an opportunity for the district to make adjustments.
So I have a question.
Yes.
And you may or may not know. Will we lose staff? Based on this projection, do we know if we will lose staff?
With the reduction in funds and the guidance that we've been given by the district to make sure that the funds we have a direct impact, the most direct impact on students, there is a possibility for adjustment there. However, that goes back to our priorities. As we are making decisions and as we're developing things for the upcoming school year, it's important that I'm going directly back to our priorities So, just kind of go through this slide right here. This is, showing our allocation. You can see our reduction in students. So one thing that I definitely admire about the, APS budget process is it does provide high level of equity. It does provide flexibility for, principals to ensure that, the funds are allocated towards their priorities and the needs of the school. So if you take a look at different lines of the budget, you can see our base per pupil. And that's, based on the number of students that we're projected to have. And, we can take another look at the, if you look at the ESOL line or ELL, that gives us an indication of how many students we're projected to have and funding that we'll have based off of those students. Same thing for gifted and special education. In addition to our base funds, we also provided additional earnings based off of our signature programs. So our signature program here is our STEAM program. So those funds are allocated towards that program. We did have a reduction in turnaround funds because we're coming off of the turnaround list. So our allocation for that is $500,000. Did have some reduction in some school improvement funds, sorry, Title I funds. So we can see our allocation right there. Where you see the holdback, those funds are held back to ensure that if there are some changes, we don't overspend, for lack of better terms. At some point, they'll be released back.
You said that you guys are all switching on those?
We are also one of the state lists, but we're still going to be monitored, by the district, so we'll receive some support from the district.
Congratulations.
All right, so what's next? Pretty much a timeline as we move forward. So this is we've had our meeting on the district level to go over the budget allocation. In February, you see we'll have a one-on-one meeting with the associate superintendent. There'll be sessions with human resources in regards to staffing, and then finally March we'll have an opportunity to make a final approval for the budget. So in February, we'll have to meet again. February, we have to meet again to discuss the budget and review how it's been allocated and report the support programs needed and our strategic priorities. At that point, we think we have to continue any discussions around the budget. We'll schedule an additional meeting.
At this time, please release all students from the campus to the cafeteria. All subbuses are about to move momentarily. Again, release all students that are riding to after school, all subbuses to the cafeteria area or to the bus lane. Buses will be moving momentarily. Last call. Thank you. Have a great day.
I'll also be participating in a meeting with our associate superintendent, the program managers, and other district personnel to ensure that budget meets the standards of service that are provided by the district. And during the week of February 24th through March 2nd, staff meetings will take place. I'm scheduled to participate in a staff meeting on the 25th of February. And really at this point, Madam Secretary, we have to determine if our current schedule will align with the budget schedule. So my staff meeting takes place on the 25th. We'll have to determine if we have to add another meeting believe we have a meeting scheduled already prior to the 26th. We should be in a good position. And that's the time when I'll present the draft budget to the board before that meeting. This year.
I think it was. We'll probably end up have to take a look at it, because I think 2 months are combined, so we'll probably do it somewhere.
So that's your, I think we changed, I hear what you're saying, we wanted to.
So I guess we can, they get back. With you,
And if, we're adding an additional date, we'll have to go to.
And the reason we took it, we did earlier, was because of that break. Because initially, we took a break, that was what we had changed.
so we're gonna break.
Right, he was doing it time. We need to take a look to adjust the calendar, because we have to have a date. Which made it need to be before the mid-winter break, and that's the 19th. So we have to at least be, because this meeting is the 25th, so it needs to be before sometime this.
I'm sorry, 26th.
Okay, so this is the
Second week. In February, if we have good time, I'm thinking. Yeah.
Would that work for everyone? So Tuesday, February 13th.
We have to have a motion. To adjust the
So
calendar.
They were keeping it in person.
We're gonna keep it.
We're gonna keep it in person, right?
Yeah.
I have to spread it to you.
What happened on that, flight? So we're gonna put okay, we're 13. Do I have a motion to accept the date of February 13th be added to the calendar?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye, or raise your hand. Aye, or raise your hand. All opposed, please say nay, or raise your hand. Any abstention? Okay, we have made changes to have the February 13th meeting here in. Okay, so, that's it, Mr. McAfee. Thank you, Principal Grant, for sharing this information. I'm sure after we have an opportunity to review it again, we might have additional questions about the budget feedback, meeting. So now we're gonna move on to the information item.
Quick question, Ms. Triplett. You all decided on your meeting date for the feedback meeting was as the 13th of February.
Yes,
Did you all do a budget approval meeting date?
no,
Could you guys go ahead and get that date on the calendar as well?
so your 26th, it has to be before your 26th. It has to be on March 15th.
Right.
Oh, okay, so I think that's the date. Oh, it has to be, I think that is the next. Oh, it might be. It's the 5th. The 5th, March 5th is the next one. So we just gonna leave, we just use the 5th for the approval. Okay, okay. So we do have one, Chandra, the March 5th date.
Okay, I didn't see any additional dates on your website, so I just wanted to confirm. So you're going to do the 13th of February and March 5th at
Yes.
5:15.
Yes.
Okay, and if y'all could update the website, that would be perfect.
So, if I can. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna move to the information item. First is the principal's report.
All right, thanks again, Madam President. I'm going to be brief with my report. It's been an amazing experience transitioning into Atlanta Public Schools here at John Lewis. Amazing students, amazing staff. Just really want to share two things. The priorities that I'll be focusing on according to my entry plan. Also to provide you the dates for some upcoming meet and greets. So my four focus areas are safety and security, culture and climate, rigorous and relevant instruction, and building community partnerships. So just to give a brief review of what I mean by each one of those. I truly believe that every student deserves a safe environment for growing and learning, and every educator also deserves a safe teaching environment. Those things are really important to me. So as we move through the semester, taking a look at our safety and security and how those things are implemented and monitored throughout the day has been a big priority. So I've been working with members of the admin team to make sure that we're doing a review of our safety and security measures, our student supervision measures, and just ensuring that they are where we need them to be to make sure that our staff and students feel safe within our school. Culture and climate will be a big action item. One of the things that I truly believe is that every student, every staff member should have a positive connection to John Lewis Invictus Academy. Right now, part of me is doing the true assessment of the culture and climate, is having one-on-one conversations with staff members, taking the opportunity I can, whenever I can, to have conversations with students to get their feel for how school's going, how their experiences have been. Those one-on-one conversations with staff have been very informative. One thing that I've learned is that our staff have a deep love and care for our students and our community here at John Lewis. And I do believe that our staff truly cares about our students, truly cares about our community, and ready for any adjustments and changes that we make as we continue to move toward increasing our student achievement and increasing the level of connection that our staff feel to John Lewis Invictus Academy. As I move forward, one of the things I'm looking to do is to have student focus groups. So I'll be working with the leadership team to identify those. When I say leadership team, I'm including our administrators and our teacher leaders to identify students to learn from their experiences and how their experience in John Lewis. Rigorous and relevant education is my third focus area. I believe that every student deserves a high quality, rigorous, and relevant learning experience. I'm excited that the board decided to make that one of our priorities as we go into a budget for the upcoming school year. And when we talk about rigorous and relevant learning experience, it definitely means all students. So that includes our students with exceptionalities, our ESL students, students who may experience struggles but may not have any exceptionality connected to them, and even ensuring that our students who are ready to excel are provided that opportunity to excel. But in all, just make sure that every student has a rigorous and relevant learning experience. And rigorous doesn't mean that it has to be something impossible. It just means that for our middle school learners that we are engaging their young minds. We're tapping into their natural curiosity, their desire to be creative, their desire to explore new ideas and to think different about concepts. I think that's also a big part of as we move towards our STEM certification to make sure that we're providing those opportunities for interdisciplinary learning experiences. So we're really excited that that's a part of our priorities. My last priority is ensuring that John Lewis Basic Academy is a pillar of our community. Want our community, students and staff to be a place to ensure that John Lewis is a place where they can count on our support. They can count on us count on partnerships to support our students, and looking for every opportunity that we can to partner with community partners who have the same vision, same goal of ensuring that our school is the school of choice. So right now, a big amount of time has been taken to ensure that we're prepared as we're going into budget season to make sure that we're putting things in place to develop our master schedule for the upcoming school year, to make sure that we are looking at how we monitor our students and monitor our safety and security of the building. So a lot of time has been put in that. But there's also time that has been allocated within my schedule to make sure I'm meeting with community partners, even as far as meeting with the library across the street, taking an opportunity to just develop partnerships and relationships with everyone who has an impact on our students. Looking to a great end of this year as we move through my entry plan, and looking towards to building on what has already been set as a foundation here at John Lewis as we go into the upcoming school year. And one thing that I've stressed in a good number of settings is that this is work that, as a principal, I'm held to the standard of leading and held to the accountability of making sure that the work gets done. But I'm a true believer that this can only get done by working with our staff, keeping our students at the forefront of our decisions, and building strong community partnerships. So looking forward to the great work that we'll do this year. Looking forward to moving into the next school year, and looking forward to John Lewis, the Victims Academy, carrying our namesake with the pride that it deserves, and making sure that our actions every day to include just our daily interactions with our students, how our students interact with each other, lives up to the expectations that the community has for us, and lives up to our namesake of John Lewis.
Thank you, Councilor Grant. Now we're going to move on to the announcement. We remind our Go Team members to complete their budget training on the Ellis platform. If you need assistance with the platform, please contact the Go Team office. Does anyone have any additional announcement?
Yeah, thank you. So thank you very much. My first meet and greet, thank you, will take place tomorrow, right? Thank you, tomorrow, right before the 8th grade meeting, and thought that would be a good time to place meetings so that as families are coming out already, if they have an opportunity to come out a little bit earlier, I'll be right here to meet and greet any community members. So it'll be right before our 8th grade night at 5:30, and have another one scheduled for the the 8th of February, and that will be right here also at 5:30. I'm sorry, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. So just want to provide multiple opportunities to meet with families. Those are the ones that I can put on the schedule now, but definitely looking forward to opportunities to schedule meetings in March, April, and May to make sure we continue to engage our community.
So is it gonna be informal meet and greet, or are you gonna have like, are you gonna give like community members time to come in and talk to you? How are you guys doing?
The Thursday, I'm sorry, tomorrow's will be informal, very informal. Just want to interact with community members. I'll take a moment to share these priorities right here with them before we go over into the 8th grade night. The next one, that following week, will be a little bit more formal. They'll start out, of course, interacting with individuals, but it'll be a more formal presentation. And more than likely, I'll find another day later in the month after we get back from winter break to host another one to connect with family.
There are people at Orr Beach.
Happy to.
We have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. Abstentions, please raise your hand. Meeting is adjourned.